All right, welcome back. Here we go, 1, 2, video 2. And I felt I should put some more work into this, but I was hesitating for a reason. I kind of want to give my mind some time to sort this out on its own, and I keep thinking that these need to be deeper, right? Than perhaps they are, but they really don't. I mean, if you look at your joints here, I mean, we see the lines, but if we didn't see the lines, there would just be just this little dip, and so I'll have to keep that in mind. This is going to look like an awfully long finger, and so I'll have to taper that. I don't think it'll really take away from it. I mean, if I pull it off, it'll be pretty cool looking. It's obviously not going to be completely realistic. I mean, you know, these spaces do not line up with joints and whatnot. So with lengths, at least of my hands, I can't speak about your hands because I haven't can't say I've probably even looked at them. So here we go. I wish this was like here, so it could be like just this big pointing finger, like I will hex you and shit, but not quite today or tomorrow. So all right, so now that we've kind of made that decision on these joints, and that actually kind of frees me up a bit. It's actually kind of concerned about it, and I don't really want to take these notches up anywhere up here either. I thought about that too, because they don't really extend that way. Just we have the knuckles do that, and depending on how your hands are, then the knuckles, maybe some of the knuckles are much more prominent in people's than others. So I don't think I really need to do that. I think what's really going to do it, what'll really kind of seal the deal, is if, you know, making the nail and making this outline here, and kind of going that route. That should be enough for that. And if it's not, then it won't sell, right? Okay, simple. Yeah, I'll have a lot of time into it. Well, I'll have some time into it. I won't say a lot, because I mean, you know, when I think of a lot of time, I think like 40 hours, or you know, on like one wand, and that would be a lot of time. I'm not gonna have 40 hours in on this. So if I were trying to make it look like an actual finger, then I could see that. But I don't have carving kits. Actually, well, I do, but I have no idea where it's at. All right, I've talked enough. Let's roll. So, all right, trim that down a little bit. I don't need to be quite as cautious about this divot right here anymore. Just go ahead and start taking off some of this. Smooth that out some. There we go. All right, now from here, this could just be a straight shaving operation, essentially. And since I can and probably should, I'm not going to take that down as much as I really want to help make sure I'm supporting the other parts here. Smooth that out some. And I think we can go ahead and wasn't sure how smooth that was going to be with some of that having come off. Sometimes it'll hit it and kind of divot things out, right? But it didn't happen that way. Well, obviously you saw that, so. Do I want to start messing with the nail? No. Like the shark's mouth, right? The shark's mouth that's now a whale shark, or looks more like a tulip, you know. All right. All right, put this down a little bit, not a lot. Okay, take it down just a little bit. Since I have those little finger pad areas there, they're already kind of working. I don't really need that red markings at the top anymore to remind myself. You have a general idea where they are. You see what I mean? I mean, this just works. I expected a lot more trouble. You know, like last time we would have to turn every which way because the different grains were going different ways. Oh. Yeah. So, all right, good. All right, we still kind of have the problem of this part right here. I'll have to take some of this down. And I'm going to have to do it kind of carefully because some of these edges will catch the blade. And I don't really want to tear out and ruin the pattern that presumably the bugs have made. Now, if I still had some of my old planes, I had little finger planes that you used to make for like instruments and stuff. But they got ruined last time I was in Hawaii here because just the humidity and stuff. So I don't have those anymore. But that might have been a good use case for rolling over the top of this because it would help level the area out accordingly. It's making me a little nervous. See, we're going to lose some of it, but all right. So another thing I thought of that drives me nuts when those things roll like that. Another thing I thought of is like, you know, I considered getting rid of this knob, but it actually just kind of, it feels pretty comfortable. And I'm afraid if I do that, then it would actually detract a little bit from the way it feels in the hand. So I think I'm actually going to keep this here, though I may taper this down a little bit to kind of highlight it a little bit, actually, because my hands are pretty small for guys' hands, so I'm a little hesitant on taking this down really, but I don't know, I may just taper it just a little bit and call it good. I can't really tell how somebody else is going to hold the wand, right? I can put features in that make it look like this or that as best I can, of course, and call it good. But I always, you know, the wand, I just never know how much. And the part of, you know, the part is if they really want to, they could put a cap on the end or something like that if they want to. But there has to be room to do that, right? They can attach like tassels or something like to the end of that. But again, there has to be room to do that. So I don't really know how long their hands are. I'm going to assume that this is going to be thick enough. They can always, you know, shave this down if they really want to. I mean, I'll probably give it a scrape here just to take the coating down a little bit. These aren't really defined enough here for me to really want to keep them. I mean, this is going to stay here. It'll get thinned out a little bit from some sanding and whatnot, but that really wasn't going to be able to be helped anyway, either way. So, but I may take this area down a little bit, because if I'm holding it here and I'm pointing the finger, this is like acting like a ridge, and it makes me want to turn my hand towards it, because it wants to curve in like that to match the contour of my hand. And I just haven't made a decision if that would be an acceptable point or not, or if they want to go head on. I don't know if they really do that though. I'm probably just over analyzing this, because I mean I'm an analyst, right? So I'm probably just overthinking this shit, and somebody else can just, you know, if they want to take that down, they can take that down. Right here, problem solved. All right, let me smooth this out, because it's kind of bugging me. Right there, there was a little ridge there. All right, just do a scrape. Go. I mean, it's a good idea to actually scrape the top cover off most of this anyhow, because it can kind of show you if a bug's been living inside the wood. I lost a piece one time because a bug had burrowed into the soft core of the inside of this wood, where it was much larger. It was about half the width, right, and ran all the way through. And I had successfully managed most of it all along here, but what ended up happening was I took the top off, and then I found there was a grub in there, and the grub at that point was like that long, and so it laid a gap. It was about that wide, that thick into the wood, and so it was too big of a gap for me to recover from, basically. So I lost the wood for that. But it's better to not transplant a bug someplace it doesn't belong. So that's just kind of the way that goes. But the other two pieces of wood from this same branch, they just showed external activity, mostly like that. I didn't find anything squirming inside, or any signs of a significant, you know, bug growth in there or anything. So now most of the bugs here are gonna have a hard time living on the mainland, if that's where this goes, right? I don't know where it'll go. Because most of the bugs here it doesn't really get cold enough here, at least doesn't get cold enough here in Oahu to kill the bugs, right? So they do quite well all year round. Now in some of the places like Maui and Hawaii Island, the Big Island, some of the peaks are snow-capped, so there you'll find some places that are inhospitable to most Hawaiian bugs. But like down here in Oahu, though, you're not really gonna get that. It's not high enough. It doesn't get cold enough. So. All right. Let's go ahead and. It makes me nervous doing it this way, but that's the way it goes. It'll be all right. Famous last words. Okay. So let's take a look where we're at. Let's take a look at our time too. All right, here we go. All right, so far we got our little joints right there, and I am a little bit indecisive on whether or not I'm going to put a little notch here to kind of simulate that, but you don't really have that, you know, in your palm, because that's really where the palm would be, right? So probably take that down just a little bit more. Kind of want to leave this, but I want to take down the edge just a little bit. There we go. And let's reduce this some. As you see, I don't know, well, you might not be able to see, but it kind of juts out a little bit I don't know how well the GoPro does that. And part of it's going to depend on screen and all sorts of stuff. I mean, I record these at like 4K. So I'm really not sure, because when I look at my phone, it looks a little bit different. All right, so I can see that I've got a little lump right here. I'll trim that down. So now I'm starting to look for the lines, where the lines are going. And since this is going to be on the side like this, right, it's not going to be really noticed as much that there's a little depression right here. It's just part of the wood. I don't think I did that, but you know, maybe I did, but I don't think I did. It doesn't. I mean, I took out a little bit like right there. So now we do know we need to get rid of more of this. Just kind of come down a little bit more. I may not get to that tonight. Okay. All right, so let's just do a roll, kind of like we're looking at our finger pads. Take this down a little bit. Let's take a look at the line there. Okay, this actually isn't bad right here. It's just a little bit. Start to, since I don't need quite as big of a, let's take down that a little bit. Start to smooth this line down some. Take that down a little. All right, so one thing I guess I can't really do that here. One thing I was going to do is I was going to shave off a little bit of this side, but not as much on this side. And it'll give it a visual display where it'll look a little more straighter. If I were to, you know, cut some of this out right here, it's gonna make it look like, you know, this side is, if you look down the center, it'll look like it's thinner, so it kind of gives the impression that it's been cut a little bit more. And if I leave this here and go in like that, then it really will look like that. Look like it has a much larger bend in it than I would care for. I don't touch that too much yet. Let's touch this. Get rid of a little bit of this. That'll put more of an angle this way with it. I don't want an acute angle there, but I want something. Okay, that's enough for this round, I think. Screw it, let's do it. All right. Smooth that a little bit. Okay. Man, I gotta be honest with you here. We don't live in a cheap part of the island, right? We don't. I mean, not rich. I mean, we have 2 incomes, and there are a lot more police sirens over here than I figured I would be hearing. So, but you know what there aren't is a lot of fireworks, which is better because, you know, some of you may know I was an infantryman in Iraq, and I don't do fireworks, right? So there were a lot of them where I used to live in Eva Beach. But I don't live in Eva Beach. And the area we live in it's got not cheap places to live, but I mean, a lot of the schools kind of suck here. And can't be doing that to my son. So there we go. All right, now it's almost to the point now where I would want to start taking a file to it a little bit, just to kind of level it out, so I could get a better look at it as it is. and it helps me see past the some of the small things that can affect your perception. So how much time do I got here? I'm at 20 minutes, so I'll probably wait for that. I mean, if I'm showing a wand, when I'm carving it, I don't want to make carvings while you guys aren't here. Not that, you know, watching me file a wand is the most exciting thing in the world, but you might be here actually listening to it. So just in case, I think I will. That's kind of the deal if I decide to put it on camera. Because I'll show you the other two actually I made. Now the one's still drying, but alright, so these are from the same piece of wood, and this is one of them. It's a little bit longer. It has some of the same markings in it that I kept here, and it's mostly just a tapered wand. I haven't decided if I'm going to go down with it much more or not. I really did like the modeling, the different look of the grain, how it portrayed here. I thought it was actually kind of cool. And so I was afraid it would get rid of some of it, because it kind of reminds me a little bit of almost like cheetah spots in a way. So that's from the same piece, same branch, I should say. That went pretty well. This was the first one I made from this whole wand, and this is, I saw this. I didn't see this part first. I just cut this part off to see. It's like, all right, well, this is the very end. It had a slight crack in it, which is going to happen with driftwood anyhow when it dries out. I mean, you can't really do anything about that. But it's not detrimental to the handle of the wand. And so when I saw this joint here, it reminded me of like a bony finger, right? And so that's what I did, and that's what I kept with it. So I kept this end here, because I try to keep one end if I can. Yeah, so somebody could drill and put a crystal in there if they wanted to, or they could not. And it looks pretty similar to a bony finger. And I didn't really, this was slightly curved in the way that this was slightly curved when I started. So you can see like a difference in appearance for sure when you can really work the wood and you have some flexibility with it, since it was holding together quite well. I was pretty pleased. Still needs some sanding here, but I don't want to get rid of some of this on here. I'll leave that mostly to show the difference, so that way the end, the middle, and the handle all have the same or similar look, right? And then the two, it really highlights these two inner points, so that whoever would purchase this, if they wanted to keep it the same way, then they could, or if they wanted to paint it, they could. But this is what I did. So those are the two I've already done with this, and this one is the finger with the nail. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and upload this video. I don't think I'll be doing anything else tonight, because it's about 9 o'clock, and it's going to take, I don't know, 15-20 minutes to pull off this camera, and then another 20 something minutes to upload. So I probably won't have another video tonight, at least of this. And I don't think I'm going to be, some of these pieces are I'm pretty sure are junk pieces of wood, so I'll experiment with those. But this one I'm going to keep all of it on camera. So there we go, and I will see you with this wand again probably tomorrow. Have a good night.